welcome back to my channel, Weird Sister. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We're going to be going over a variety of different topics this month for March. March is Women's Month, so we're going to be focusing on things concerning Women in Women's Month. Starting off with the workplace and toxic workplaces, which is one of my favorite topics, and why you should pursue entrepreneurship, being freelance, and generally just overall it's one of my topics. So we discussed that here. And then I also have other videos from February for Self-Check Awareness Month. We kind of went out of the norm for February and we did Self-Check Awareness Month instead of all the other wonderful causes that represent February. Just kind of look within and look at a few of those videos. Actually, I believe there's only a couple of them because I kind of blended topics into 2 videos, which was great. And then I also have videos from this past January. It was my own month I made up, Get Your Shit Together January. So if you need some extra inspiration or motivation or anything like that, I'm here to help as a weird sister, and hopefully you're a weird sister. If you don't have one, I'm happy to be one. If you feel like you need another one, here I am. So today I have for toxic workplace and women. And by the way, I'm wearing Frida Kahlo today. She's one of my favorite artists of all time. I'll tell you a little. But oftentimes in the workplace, whenever you are assertive, and especially in a toxic workplace, that is seen as a problem. It wasn't until like a couple years ago, I had a manager who was another really empowered female leader tell me, you're not, anything that they told me. Apparently there were a bunch of rumors spread about me being stubborn and strong-willed and all this, that, and the other. She says, you're just a formidable person that's very assertive. And her and I ended up working out really well together. And that was that. So, and she actually gave me a bunch of other really great clients at my time at that company while I was an account manager. So, and helping me out with a bunch of great projects as well. But yeah. And oftentimes it's not until it's seen by another woman like that it's realized your true intentions in the workplace. Like when you ask questions and you always have a way to find better ways to do a process, or you're always trying to think ahead within the company, or you just have 15 different thoughts going on in your brain when someone tells you something and you bring all those thoughts up. You might even, if you're me, make a whole PowerPoint and go through ways to maybe make that better or provide other solutions, because my method of thinking, which while it is celebrated usually when I would interview, when I work, it's not always celebrated, is I'm not going to provide you with a solution unless I see a problem. And if there is a problem, I'm going to provide you a solution. I don't ever go, nor did I ever go, to my leadership unless I had a solution to whatever problem they had. So if they said, this is what we're facing, this is what we have going on, we don't have something yet, but we're working on it, I would more often than not always be the first person, and maybe this is you too, that would be like, well, here's A, B, and C plans of action I think might work. And I've tested A already, and here are the data and results that I've gotten with A. With B, I've kind of tested this, and here's what I've gotten so far on that. C, I haven't quite tried yet, but I'm looking for maybe more guidance on how we might be able to go with it. And I think if we maybe put a committee or something together, this is what we could possibly do. Now, oftentimes that's seen as me being a problem. And oftentimes that was seen as me, not knowing my place. And it's funny because in the workplace is everybody's place. Like, there's no such thing as knowing your place in the workplace. I'm sorry, there's not. There's rankings and there's hierarchy, but it should always be celebrated or collaborated with if somebody comes to you with stuff like that. Or you should at least tell them why things might be different in a respectful way, which was never the case with anything for me. But a lot of times, coworkers and bosses, men and women alike, are not used to someone who's going to stand their ground. And if you don't know already, I kind of look off to the side because I have notes on what I want to say so I don't get distracted in my head. But people are not used to someone who's going to stand their ground and who's going to be assertive. That's not your problem. That's not your issue. If somebody can't grasp or understand your vision and you've put it together in a professional way like I've outlined, or you've put it together in a way that's respectful and mindful of company policy like I would have, then they are intimidated by you. And you are, as my prior manager told me, formidable. You're a formidable woman. You're a formidable person. And that's not bad because what's the quote? Well-behaved women seldom make history. If you were well-behaved in your approach and you went forward and you executed it in such a way that they couldn't deny, and they did for whatever reason, because they didn't want to see your potential most likely, then they are under the understanding that you are not going to be a well-behaved woman in their company. You're going to be somebody that makes waves, that initiates change, that causes people to relook the processes or people that they have in place, because maybe you're bringing up questions that the people in place can't quite answer, which was another thing that often came about when I was an account manager and when I was in other account management roles rather. And that led me to realize that I have it all together and I just need to do it for myself. And now I have a bookkeeping business, a copywriting business, a notary business, and for the past 15 years, this art behind me is mine, and I've been selling that locally and internationally whenever the opportunities present themselves. If you want a link to some of my artwork, by the way, it is in the bio on this channel, A Weird Sister. It's beducci.co. Which, another fun side story, the reason my business is Beducci is because no one could pronounce my last name, and they made a nickname for me in middle school, and I told them that they could tease me all they wanted. I was going to make that a business. I already had this spirit when I was like 13, and that's exactly what I did when I was 18, and I was able to make my own things happen as an adult. And I've had my business since. I've shown with India. I've worked with multiple other countries as well, and multiple artists. It's been great. It's been a fun ride. And it's going to get even funner. I have new collections I'm still working on. But back to today's topic. Being formidable is totally fine. And that shows you that you have the ability to lead, to make change, to do stuff yourself. And that is what terrifies the bejesus out of them. And that's okay. That's okay. Because they will forever stay in their own little bubble, in their own little company. And that's fine. That's what they want. That's what they chose. But you need to get out of that bubble. And you need to create your own bubble and execute those skills for yourself and not be exhausted by having all your ability to be formidable and assertive and the person that creates change be exhausted by people who are going to constantly put you down, by people who are constantly going to be intimidated by you. And it just tells you that you're a big fish in a small pond, or maybe you're just not even in the right pond. Maybe you need to find another company. You know, I know freelance is not for everybody. And I know that executing a schedule for yourself, waking up every day, and working at home is not for everybody. I know that. It's hard work. It's hard work for me, especially with like 4 different things. And then whatever I happen to think of that I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing, and I just do it because that's just how I am. I know not everybody has that. That's my thing. That doesn't mean it has to be your thing. But if your thing is maybe you just need to find a different pond, find a different pond. Don't let them intimidate you. If you were a man, it would be different. A lot of times I would bring things up in meetings or boardrooms or anywhere else and say something, and I could say it the exact same way that another guy said it, and he would get recognized and I would not, because I was too blonde, because I didn't have X qualification, even though he had basically no qualifications, potentially, in one case. And I was always looked over because people are not used to you being brash or forward, formidable, assertive as a woman. It's hard. And I have this voice to boot. I don't have the cute Valley Girl voice that goes with this platinum blonde hair. I don't have the aesthetic that goes with it. I just like it, and it's who I am. And I know my roots aren't the greatest, but at least they're touched up. It took me a while to touch them up myself because I've been running 4 things all by myself and doing everything all by myself, which is a whole other video, let me tell you. But there's a lot of times that people will not listen to you because you are who you are. And that's just fucking fine. That is just fucking fine. That tells you where you sit in their world. And don't forget it. Don't forget it. Being formidable is okay. Being assertive is okay. Not fitting in everyone's circle is totally fine. Because what that tells you is that there's another circle out there for you. What that tells you is you have the potential to make your own circle happen. Don't exhaust yourself. And believe me, I've tried to. I've tried to fit in. I've tried to play the game. I've tried to be nice. I've tried to even take on a whole different style and aesthetic at one point to fit in. It didn't work because it wasn't genuine. And I can't ever not be genuine. Anyone that talks to you about me will say she's her own brand. No matter what I do, who I am is always going to be my own brand. And just like I said in the last video, at the end of February, you are not disposable. You have worth. And you matter. And you are enough. Don't let them tell you that because you're formidable, you're assertive, you want change, you have the ways to make change, is a problem. That's their problem. That's not your problem. Don't forget that. When someone tries to make you feel like you're the problem, they're the problem. When someone tries to correct your behavior when you've done everything to prove that you are there for the company, they're not there for you. And therefore, you need to find another circle. You need to find another tribe. You need to create your own tribe and your new circle. I have been put down more times than I can count by people, despite wearing the right lip gloss, saying the right thing, putting the right clothes on, putting the right face on, following the way the company words their language and interaction. And none of that mattered because I was not genuine. I was doing them as genuinely as possible, but they could see that's not who I really was. And I knew it too. I knew this is the path that I am meant for, to be on my own. It's the only way for me. For you, it might not be. But don't ever let people tell you that being formidable, being assertive, and making people uncomfortable because you have the right things to say and you've submitted them as respectfully as possible is the wrong thing. That's not right. That's not healthy. That's toxic. And you need to understand that you're better than that. You're better than that. You are enough. You do matter. And you probably matter than most, more than most. If you can do those things and come back from it, you're a strong person. So that's my opening message for March. I am going to cut it short because I still have 15 things to do today for my own things, and I have other stuff I got to figure out. But that's what we have. I don't really have a whole lot else. I do have more topics we're going to be discussing. Let me go through my fun little list here, because I like lists for certain things. This is one of them to keep my head straight. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and also, if you ever do find yourself in a situation where you feel you're being discriminated against for your views, and you're never being seen and you're never being heard, and you can tie that to discrimination of any kind, and you've taken stock and note of that, record your meetings, either audio or writing them down, preferably audio probably, but writing them down is always good too. I'm going to link for you the EEOC webpage should you need to report something to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. If for any reason you're let go and you can prove the above with the EEOC and writing and handling things accordingly, recording everything at your company. Most states, if you're in America, have an attorney general where you can file a complaint and you can file a civil complaint. Most states also have legal centers that are free of charge, pro bono, for legal advice to go over all your concerns and evidence with. Feel free to reach out to one of those and speak to a legal professional in regards to what your next step should be with an employer that has gone beyond toxic and into discriminatory if you're a woman facing those things. That's what I'm going to link. I can't link all the states. YouTube would probably hate me if I did that. It'd be way too many characters. But I will link the EEOC, and I will link other resources to look up or see if I can find something that will allow you to look up, attorneys in your area, etc. Usually the American Bar Association is best. Next topics I think I'm going to do are women and women's health and women and women's education. I've also had issues with those as well. And I know that there's other women out there that have dealt with that as well. And I have gone a couple minutes over from when I said that I was going to end this, and I still have a bunch of things to do. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe if this helps you, or if you just need a weird sister. There's going to be new series that come out as well on the shorts side of things as well, so feel free to follow those. Thanks so much, and stay weird.